Hello and welcome to the Pikeville City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dotson. As always, a time when we meet with Pikeville City Manager Donovan Blackburn to talk about some of the neat, fun, and very interesting things that are going on in and around our community. Donovan, good day to you.
Jill, good day.
Always a great time to get together with a whole list of things that are new and exciting for the Pikeville area and surrounding area. So let's get started today. First topic up for discussion is our commercial air service. We're in the month of April finally. A lot of work has been done on this project. A lot of people very excited.
Well, and as you know, we only had a meeting a week or a session a week ago recording, and unfortunately I've still got this raspy cough, so I'm going to apologize again if I keep clearing my throat because it hits me unfortunately when I start talking. It's okay until I start talking. There's a lot going on, as you said, and during our last session, there were some things we didn't get to that I know that we're going to cover today, and I spoke a little briefly towards commercial air, and we will, I'm sure, be continually talking about this over the next several weeks. And what I mean by that is that I'm just, I believe in total transparency, and we want to make sure that the public understands what's going on. Our projected launch date is April 14th. We're working feverishly trying to get to that date. But I have never waded through so much bureaucracy and red tape in my life. And not that things aren't where they need to be, they are, but unfortunately there's a lot of things that the federal government demands and requires that we've got to get to. And I will probably, I had 4 conversations yesterday with different departments, Department of Transportation. And I think I kind of described, I think I said this at the last session. I've talked about this so much I can't remember who all I've talked to about this, Jill. But the situation that we're in right now isn't that there's any jeopardy from the standpoint of the service. It's a matter of the process. And what we mean by the process is that as the experts in the field with corporate flight management and charter, there has been precedent set all over this country, well, I won't say all over, in several different areas of this country, of what they call a 139 certification. And that's just numbers to most of us, and it was to me, but I'm learning. But basically what that 139 is a DOT, Department of Transportation regulation, that for a commercial air service has to obtain, and it's just basically a certification. They come in and do a checklist. This airport meets those certifications. It's not a problem, but it's a process. So because of the type of airport and what type of plane we're flying and all the other components, there's been precedent set out there that this airport is not was not required to go through the 139 certification. The FAA tended to agree with us. However, and the DOT somewhat agreed to us until it got to somebody in Washington. And now we've got a gentleman in Washington that is arguing the fact that it needs to have the 139 certification, which is somewhat, very frustrating. We certainly understand and not accusing anybody, and I don't want that feeling out there. I mean, it's just frustrating for us that we're trying to save our economy. We're trying to offer services and quality of life to the people of this region, and there's one hurdle after the other, and the hurdles that we have cleared over the past several years has been absolutely amazing. Candidly speaking, most people thought we were swimming uphill when you look at a rural community such as this region, and then you look at trying to find a provider that is true commercial service, commercial air service, versus what was going on in Somerset years ago. And Somerset was more of a commuter service. We're not looking for a commuter, we're looking for commercial. And with the support of the governor and Congressman Rogers, Governor Beshear, and Senator McConnell and Rand, Paul, I'm sorry, and Stumbo and Ray Jones and then Leslie, and I can go on and on. We have overwhelming support for this project, as the chamber and all those businesses. So my point isn't that people aren't supportive of it, they are. The frustration is that we're now relying upon federal agencies after getting through all those hurdles and putting together a unbelievable project and an issue that will benefit our region, that we're held up in red tape. And that's where we're at right now, is that this certification, what we're asking for, well, I'll back up. We have an attorney that is using all those examples with the DOT to show that there has been a precedent set. And if nothing else, we're asking for a variance so that we can launch on that date to the 139, meaning that we will go ahead and apply for the 139 just to pacify so that there can be no questions in the future. But until we get that 130, the question now is will they grant us a variance? Because again, to get the 139 is a 4 to 6 week process. So that's the battle we're fighting out. It's almost comical when you tell the story, and I'll put this in a light method, because where we're at right now is the FAA cannot approve the we need the 139 through the DOT, and until the DOT approves the 139, the FAA can't sign off for the TSA.
Lots of letters there.
A lot of letters. So, and that's the problem that we're in is that you need most people that we have talked to, both in the FAA and several in the DOT, agree that that there is a precedent set and 139 is not mandated. It's not a problem to get the 139. Again, it's just timing. So now we've got the plane ready, the crew hired, the ground crew hired. That's corporate flight charters piece. We've got the contract signed. We've got the funding in place. But now what we're waiting on is for somebody in Frankfurt to give us either a variance or to get through the 4 to 6 week process it's going to take to get the 139 certification. Once we get that, the TSA has already reviewed the security plan out of the Louisville office and is satisfied with the security plan, but we can't address the baggage issue until we get TSA security plan in place. So there's a lot of, and that's what I've been trying to echo over the past several months. This isn't just a matter of a plane flying into the Pikeville airport and saying we have commercial air service. This is a point of getting the marketing people together, the corporate flight management who has the plane, charter who operates the plane, getting the ground crew, the pilots, the facility actually ready for the icing equipment, all the components for the airport ready. So that's another component of getting us to the point that we are. And then again, bringing in these other components, which is the federal regulations that are part of it. So we've got to meet the requirements that are set forth by the grant, which it won't be a problem. But nobody foresaw, because of other airports being able to do it across the country, this 139 issue. So we're fighting that issue. I think once we get over that hurdle, then everything will be good. We're hoping for the possibility of a waiver through the Department of Transportation. As I said, I think I said this, I'll probably be in D.C. next week, meeting with some folks at the Department of Transportation, trying to get this thing to the finish line as quickly as possible. Because as of last week, we thought we were completely there. Everything was laid in place, other than waiting for the 130 or for the DOT to sign off so that we can bring TSA in. Once the TSA comes in, then we can get the sterile environment. But until DOT signs off on this, we're not going to be able to do that.
And it's very hard to get a date when you're relying on someone else to sign off on important measures like that.
Well, and that's the frustration. The frustration is that the reason we come up with the date is that everybody checks the boxes. Mm-hmm. Check. We're there. Until a bureaucrat steps in and says, wait a minute, hold up, time out. This is what this policy says. Now, we want to make sure that we do everything according to plan, but there is so many moving parts of this to get it to the finish line. And once you get to the finish line, it's a whole lot easier. Once the service takes off and all the boxes are checked and everybody's satisfied, then it's not going to be a problem. It's just trying to get to that one point. So again, we are optimistic, I'll say, that we'll be able to launch on the 14th. Last week we knew we were. We had, again, a conference call with the providers. Everything had been approved until this one issue has come up now over the 139 issue. So now I'm hoping with some help, I'll be making a trip to D.C. next week to see if we can at least get a variance to allow us to go ahead and launch as we expect. If not, then the possibility we may be delayed by another 2 to 4 weeks, which folks have to understand that the Chamber of Commerce leadership, the airport's leadership, the city's leadership, Luke, the providers, all the hours and hours of work that has gone to bring this to the people of this region. We poured our heart and soul to this thing, and when you stub your toe again, again, it gets aggravating to a point that I know that the public wants us to launch. I've received numerous calls last week asking when can I book my tickets. The website, I'll say this, the website is ready to launch. We've got it ready to hit the button and you can start buying your tickets. Problem is we don't know when we'll be able to sell,
Right,
sell
to provide the
tickets for it.
flight date.
So again, we're optimistic, still targeting the 14th. We'll know hopefully by Friday, tomorrow, or Monday, hopefully at the latest. But if that they'll consider a variance, and that's why I've got to make the trip with Luke Schmidt and who's our consultant to go down and talk to DOT and see if we can't get this, hopefully this last little piece of this puzzle worked out. So bear with us. It's not deterred us. It's just a matter of having a document. Mm-hmm. And that's all that it is at this point. And it's frustrating. And that's unfortunately what government is at times, is that you have to have a document.
It can be. But
so
we will certainly be thrilled to announce that definite date coming up very soon.
We will. Again, targeting the 14th. Don't get discouraged. If it's not the 14th, then it hopefully will be soon. We'll be able to announce something soon thereafter. And I think, and that's actually the purpose of having the meeting, is instead of these emails or a lot of conference calls going back and forth where you've got 6 different parties, again, TSA, DOT, our folks, FAA, all at different ends working, is to bring those groups into one room and say, what else do we, we're getting frustrated because we're meeting everything we're being asked, and then all of a sudden something else comes up, tell us what we need to do to get to a date. So all the pieces are in place. The biggest concern is, and even corporate flight management understands this, they were initially screaming, I won't say scream, but pointing to the contract saying that we've got pilots hired and assets, plane painted, we got to launch. But they understand that this is out of our hands, it's in the federal government's hands, and therefore they're willing to work with us, understanding that it's not us holding it up now, it's the federal government holding it up now. So everybody understands, as a matter of fact, today's Thursday, the chamber, the airport chairman, myself, and those, the corporate flight management and charter all have a conference call today at 2:30 to discuss this very issue, that what if we can't get the 139 variants, where do we go from here and what are we going to do? And they have, through a couple of conversations this week, said that they're very workable, they understand the circumstances, and it's nothing that we've been very forthcoming in trying to work this thing out. They're extremely excited to enter this market. They know what this means to the region, and that they're committed. So all is moving forward. We just ask for a little patience.
Good things come to those who are patient, right?
Amen.
All
Amen.
right. Something that we have talked about at length on our show and in different public forums, radio included, are the new Dreams stables that sweet Miss Betty Tackett has taken over and literally taken it by storm. Dream Stables will open this weekend. Actually, this is on Thursday. It'll open officially this weekend, but if you've been up there, you've seen that she's been open. I was actually there yesterday afternoon, spent about an hour with Miss Betty and the beautiful animals that she has there. But one thing I noticed, I could barely get in the parking lot because there were so many people that, whether they're driving up to the Overlook or they're just driving through Balbamus Park, or they've actually heard about the stables being open, had stopped there. Children everywhere. I saw, I have to put some pictures on Facebook of Romeo and Casanova that are going to do the carriage rides through downtown Pikeville. A great addition that will be starting very soon. But also just the facility in itself, and hearing about her vision and her plan and her love for children and people, understanding what a great resource that will be. And then starting to take the trail rides too. There's just so much.
Well, Jill, unless you've been stuck in the closet somewhere, you can't help but to get excited to hearing all the things that are going on right now. Mm-hmm. And you stand back and you smile and you look at what's happening to this great community. And again, I've said it time and time again, I commend the commission and their leadership because they know what they're trying to accomplish. I've mentioned before about, we want to be Gatlinburg-like, not a Gatlinburg. We're not trying to take away our charm of who we are, but what we are trying to do is to diversify our economy, to create opportunity and jobs. We have a responsibility. We have 2 beautiful new hotels built downtown. And we have a responsibility not only to the hotels to bring people in on weekends, because the hotels are booked through the weekdays. The weekends are fairly empty. And if we can look for ways not only to bring people into the hotels, because that's 250 people or 250 rooms, not people, because we can bring families in on weekends, that will create other service demands. And when you look at this as a whole, and you look at what the university is doing, and my gosh, I applaud the university with the announcement recently of the new optometry school. I had the opportunity, they've got a working group in here right now, the university does. Their architects and their designs are looking at how the building is going to be situated, and I had the opportunity of meeting with them yesterday for 3 hours to talk about the city's history, and because they want to mirror, they want to do what the university wants them to do and have the institutional feel, but yet still kind of blend it into what the history of the community is. So it's just really exciting. So when you look at, again, bringing 240 new students downtown, 100 new jobs downtown with that, when you look at what's happening with the Internet Cafe, and then you look at some other announcements that we're getting ready to make here, hopefully in the very near future. You look at Jenny Wiley Theater open, look at all the traffic of what's happening and pull people downtown. And this stable is another major component of that. Because if you had, to your point, I know you were up there yesterday, and I drove up there the day before yesterday. We've had 2 80-degree days. Sun's been shining. People have been out there just absolutely crazy. They've had their several birthday parties up there. The little miniature ponies up there
Aren't they cute?
Aren't they the cutest little things if you haven't seen them?
Yeah.
But Kentucky our heritage is rich in horses, and to actually have a facility here, a state-of-the-art facility. If you haven't seen the barn, come up and look at it. Betty's done an unbelievable job with her little general store out there beside of the barn.
Yeah, she took me through the general store yesterday. I didn't even realize that it was there. But she has a lot of unique items. She has a whole line of customized jewelry that you can purchase. All are one-of-a-kind pieces. She's got cake plates that are customized. She's got the candy store, hats, saddles, handbags, everything that you can think of that I think it's called Country Girls store. I probably misspelled the name, but to have that there, and the birthday parties you mentioned, she has several booked, and there's even a wedding that is booked now for the barn itself. And there's so many opportunities that are there. You mentioned the ponies, and I do want to talk about that. There are so many children who love animals, but those big horses can be a little bit overwhelming at times. But to have those little miniature ponies, and they're actually dressed up. I mean, Miss Betty has almost put clothing on them, but it's so much fun for kids, and there's never been an opportunity like that right here in our community.
Well, and that's the whole point. I mean, Betty, obviously, if you haven't seen her around her animals, I mean, she absolutely adores her animals. She's an expert in the equestrian field. But where I see this is as a great vision and opportunity is being able to take somebody of that expertise and giving them an opportunity to bring something to our community. So it was a great marriage. It was a marriage of the state giving the city a grant. We matched that grant with local funds. We used a wonderful park system. We cut some trails and linked some existing trails that were already available. Absolutely breathtaking scenery as you go through the trail system. But by putting all those components together, we've been able to bring a new opportunity into our community, improve the quality of life, expose our youth to the equestrian business, while also attracting people from outside the region to stay here, eat in our hotels, or eat in our restaurants, stay in our hotels. That's what this thing is all about, of what the commission has really challenged me to do over the last year, as we've mentioned before, is to look at what assets we have and how can we enhance those assets to create opportunity from the standpoint of jobs and quality of life.
You have a lot of businesses that do company retreats.
Yes.
And a lot of times they will go to your Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg type areas for those retreats because of all the activities that they offer. To your point a moment ago, not to be like them, but to be similar. We have so many opportunities now with our river trail system, with the carriages downtown, with Miss Betty, our new retail development that's coming in. There are so many things that we offer here that even they can take part in. The theater too.
Well, absolutely right. And I know I keep saying this, and I apologize to the public. I'm under a confidentiality agreement right now, but everybody knows there's a major corporation that's been in the market that's been circulating around that I can't name yet. But what I'm working with on them, to what they're committing to, if this all goes the way that we're planning it, this is going to be some major announcements and job creation, additional attractions, and then you layer that on with our river trails and the things that you're talking about. Now, those are the things that are close by. That's somebody that can come into our community, spend the weekend, or somebody that's here locally that just wants to go out and ride horses for the weekend. That's now available to you. You don't have to go to Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. You don't have to go to Lexington to shop. You look at and I know I keep saying this, but I think it's a point that people need to really grasp to, is that you can get a great education here now with the university and all the programs that they've added. You look at the hospital, of all the services that they've added, and they're getting ready to open a brand new building this week or next week coming. So there's some major announcements. Well, I won't say the whole building. I certainly didn't mean to steal their thunder, but they've got some announcements that are coming out. But it's a magnificent facility that offers quality health care, to where our people had to travel for years outside the region. They can now stay home, but more importantly, we're able to bring people into the region. And it's through initiatives. We keep talking about the horse trail because it's new. But if you want to get really excited, not just listen until you and I talk about it, go up there and visit the place. Mm-hmm. Jill, when I started 10 years ago with the city, it's a sense of pride for me, along with the commission as well. But we had a lot of problems up at Bob Amos. Families did not venture to the top of the overlook in fear of all the activity that was going on there. And the commission said, we're going to change that. We're going to change the way that we look at our city. We're going to put new programs into place. We're going to commit to certain things. And everything that they said that they would do, they've done. And you look at the benefit of just at Bob Amos alone. Again, we've got our rafting system that's lodged up there. You've got the RV park. You've got the $1 million soccer complex, the Hillbilly Christmas in July, the sidewalk that goes from the top to the bottom of the field, the basketball courts, the cross-country trail, the overlook, and all the shelters that was added, all the playground equipment that was additionally added, and now a new horse trail that has been added. And all that has taken place literally over the last 8 years. So, I mean, and most of it even more recent, but it has been a transformation to the park system. And then another component of that we're working on, of course, is the zip lines, which I know is later on the list to talk about. So, there's just been a shift, and it's not to pat anybody on the back. It's just been good management decision and investment in our community, because it's paid off. When you look at, we're getting ready to start on the terrace seating. When you're able to bring 10,000 people into downtown on a weekend to let them enjoy something that they would have to go to Clay City to see, it's obviously a different experience, different level, but it's worth people not having to travel to stay at home to be able to have that experience. And that's what this is really all about. You talked about the retail development. Not having to go to Lexington to Hobby Lobby to be able to stay home.
Huge plus.
It's huge. Or to go to Ross's Dress for Less. They got a new sign up on, if you've been down, I got tickled. It's in the parking lot of the post office, but Ross's Dress for Less coming soon. And you go down. I spent a couple of days down there this week walking with the developer or his construction manager and taking some pictures. I like to do some before and after, but just seeing all the footers that are going in and the drainage that's going in, and that starting to grow up. And people should take a sense of pride of what's happening in and around the community, because too often I was driving to Winchester and Lexington and other places like that and watching those areas construct and grow.
Right.
We've got that, even in the economic climate that we're in right now, we've got those same opportunities as being presented to us. And it didn't happen by chance, I can assure you of that. A lot of hard work went into this. To have to sell this region, it's unfair to a point, but we've been able to do that through a lot of partnerships, like Jean Hill, Community Trust Bank. She's worked with us on several different components, her and the bank, like Walter May and the hospital, like Paul Patton, James Hurley now with the university. We've partnered with a lot of different agencies that have pride in their communities to be able to create what's going on right now. And again, there was some negative comments out there about trying to become Gatlinburg, and we're not trying to become Gatlinburg. We're trying to become Pikeville and Pike County. We're trying to become a regional destination so that we can help our economy grow. There's people out of work right now that are hurting. We, as leaders of our community, have to create opportunity. And it's not done. I would love to go to Washington right now and bring back a pile of money and say, here's 1,000 jobs. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Washington doesn't have earmarks anymore. Frankfurt's got problems with their budget. So we're self-reliant. That was what the initiative of SOAR is. And I was very honored by the governor and the congressman to play an active role in that, because they have seen what Pikeville has done also. And I know you started out the conversation talking about the horse barn, but this is very symbolic of much, much more. This is a victory for our community of creating another resource, another quality of life, another facility that will enhance all those things, along with create opportunity and business for the region. And I go back to when I first started, whenever, before my time, all the leaders that created the Expo Center, Charles Baird, Paul Patton, I know there was many others, but walking into that facility that the first day that it opened and seeing a child's face watching Mickey Mouse on Ice for the first time, that's why we do this stuff, Jill. And if you really want a giggle, as they say, go on Betty's Facebook page and look at the kids' faces that are sitting on these ponies. That's why we do this.
I got to experience that yesterday, and like we said, she's not even officially open yet. That will come this weekend. But as we were there, and it was already crowded as it was, there was a school bus pulled up, and they're wanting to do, or that the group that was there wasn't scheduled. They were just out for a field trip and just going around town. I think they'd taken them to eat somewhere, but it was from the Dorton Head Start, I think, or Dorton Elementary, somewhere to that effect. But it was very small little children, and they were coming to take a tour of the new barn and to see the ponies and to see their faces light up. And then Betty's too, and all the people that were working there with her, the grooms, all the horses were getting baths yesterday, and so the kids got to see that. But I think how interesting and how really unique for them to be able to come right to maybe where they play baseball at, or the soccer fields, or go to the YMCA, but to be able to come there and see that sort of thing that many of them may have never been exposed to before. They've only seen the pictures and never have seen, and it does happen. I mean, we like to think it doesn't, but some of those children may have never seen a horse live and in person before, but they have that opportunity here. And you think about sporting events for kids. Sports is not for every child. There are so many things that every child doesn't involve themselves in, but to have this as an outlet for the equestrian world, it gets them off of video games sometimes and exposes them to something totally different.
And that's been a big part of the initiative, is to get people outdoors, to get people healthy, to expose them to other, all of our walking trails downtown. A lot of the initiatives, to your point, that may not be for some people, but they are for others. But the other component of this is too, Jill, is the special needs.
Absolutely.
We had, when not only our partnership with Hillbilly Christmas in July with the Randy Jones Memorial Park, which is a phenomenal facility there at the RV park. If you haven't seen it,
you need to.
You need to see and understand what it means to this community. But the horse trail was no different. The commission, again, wanted to make sure that we made this special handicap accessible, so the ramps that are part of the riding ring are there. So it is an experience for all ages. Being able to live in a community to where you can actually have somebody taught riding lessons.
Right.
I love to travel when we get the opportunity, and a lot of places that we travel, my wife and I a lot of times will do a trail ride, whether it's on the beach or in a forest somewhere. So I've had to learn myself over the years, being taught by whoever the wrangler is, in Las Vegas, or we were in Belize, I think we did a ride in, but didn't realize there's different type of horses, different type of methods, but to have that experience here in our community, to where your child can be taught, or you can be taught not only how to ride, but then again a magnificent trail system that runs through the countryside up in the mountains. That's absolutely breathtaking. And again, I keep going back to that, because when the leaves are out, that trail is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday too, how neat that will be. But a lot of great things coming. If you want to book an event, it's Dreams, DREAMZ, stables.eventb.com, or you can also go to tourpikecounty.com or visit pikeville.com as well. Now, we've talked about the horse park. or the horse equestrian lot with Miss Betty. But something else that's really neat that's coming to our area, which we have wanted for a long time, is an internet cafe, roasted coffee house. James and Michelle Sword, going to be a lot of fun. And there's been someone show some interest in the coffee business as well.
Well, there has been, and that's what's neat about this whole. It's amazing to me how one thing leads into another, which leads into another. And I've told this story, I believe, before, but the City Commission completed their an updated comprehensive plan. They did the one in 2005. This past year, we adopted the new comprehensive plan. The one thing that the Commission felt a need to do was to include the younger generation, the Generation X. So we had Generation Y, Generation X as part of the plan. So what we did was we brought in 4 seniors and 4 juniors from Pikeville High School, since it's the city's comprehensive plan, and we let them be the peers and the voice of the student base to come back and to tell us some of the things that they wanted to see happen in our community. One of the big things that they brought to us was they wanted to see an internet cafe. So the commission was really geared towards trying to serve that need. So this was a perfect location. It used to be the chamber's office. It's directly, the reason why it's a perfect location, it's great visibility, but it's right down from the university. So you've got all the college kids, which typically are the ones that utilize this type of facility. And then you've got the 2 hotels. It's located 1 block down. And then you've got the Jenny Wiley Theater, which is located 1 block the other way. So typically those are the type of folks that would be patrons of this type of a facility. So perfect location, again, a great partnership, a local entrepreneur that wanted to come in and invest in their community. So we're really excited about what they're doing. And they're down there working now. If you've driven by, you'll see the dumpster outside, the cones. My understanding is they're opening it up sometime around or right shortly after Hillbilly Days. I haven't spoken to them directly, but that's what I was told this week. But then partnerships is what happens, and there's been a company in the market, and I can say this, there has been a company in the market that if you've seen our Facebook page, Dr. Pierce Lyons with Alltech has been in the community, had the opportunity of meeting with him several times. He's a brilliant man. It's a $1 billion, again, Kentucky-based company that does a lot of different things in the ag business, and they were in town looking at some opportunities. They have a local agent that has now been hired and is actually located here in Pikeville, but is looking at Eastern Kentucky at opportunities, possible opportunities for Alltech. But one of the neat things that Alltech does is they do a lot of, I'm trying to think of the word, donations, I guess, or contributions to outside agencies to try to help. And Dr. Lyons is a very green initiative type person, and takes on, and for example, I'll give an example of some of the things that they do, is they're very heavily into distillery. They have a Kentucky bourbon. They're part of the Bourbon Trails. So what they do is from the byproduct of both their distillery and their brewery that they have in Lexington, their byproduct of that, they actually create fish pellet food. And then that fish pellet food is fed to their fish, which is a tilapia farm that's an indoor complex. And then the waste from the tilapia farm and from the extra for the fish and their other waste is then processed through a system that creates a fertilizer that is then put onto their fields. So one thing rolls into another, which rolls into another, which is what I think is very unique. I can't remember, and I apologize, I can't remember the country, how they're tied in with the coffee house, is that one of the trips that Dr. Lyons made here, he asked me what was going on in that building, and I told him. He got really excited about it, and he said, do you know that Alltech actually has a coffee brand? And I said, no, I wasn't aware of that. And he said, we do. The country, again, just being blunt about it, it's a poor country that they grow their coffee out of. Mm-hmm. So what they've done is they've gone over into a country that was that had some kind of disaster. And I'd like to say what it is, but I can't remember, and I apologize because there's been several over the past several years. But what they do is they've gone over there and they actually grow their coffee in that country, which has put people to work. And then they sell the coffee, and then all the proceeds from the coffee goes back into the country to help feed the children and such. So it's a way, again, for us to participate in supporting not only the coffee house, but a Kentucky-based company that has created thousands of jobs, not just on an international level, that has an interest in Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky, but is also contributing back to countries that are much less fortunate, that has been through tragedy, that they can support. So there is a deal being worked out now to bring that brand into as part of all the other things that that Roasted will be offering. So again, great partnerships, a lot of new and unique things that are happening, and it's a small piece, but still something nice to talk about.
Absolutely. We look forward to Roasted opening up sometime around the 1st of May, we think. Now, we mentioned the Expo Center a little bit earlier and all the different opportunities that they provide. It's always a very busy facility. A lot of people think it's just for the concerts, but it's still very, very, very busy, hosting events, bridal showers, weddings, receptions, things of that nature. But we are going to talk about next Thursday. The 10th is a big, big day. The 10th is a big day when our new medical office building at the hospital will open up. The new parking structure is going to be ready to be utilized. All of those offices, that will be at 3 o'clock on the 10th. Then a little bit later on that evening, a few guys, Billy Currington, Brett Eldridge, and Chase Rice, going to be in town for a great big concert that night. And then the couple weeks after that, Old Crow Medicine Show, just in time for Hillbilly Days.
Hillbilly Days.
Yeah. I knew what, I was wondering what that was.
Excuse me. I saw this for the first time this week.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I saw the proof of it before that it came out.
Yeah.
But this is a new pamphlet for Hillbilly Days. If you haven't picked one up, suggest you do so. It's got some inlay of what's going on the different days of the events, Jill. But of course, Wednesday is always our setup day. The carnival will open up Thursday through Saturday. Of course, is a carnival. You've got the arts and craft, the Coca-Cola cornhole tournament, the hillbilly degree work for the those that are a member of the Hillbilly Clan. On Thursday also, you've got the quilt check-in, the music in the park, the welcoming ceremony. Appalachian Wireless's fireworks show at dark. On Friday, you've got the Hillbilly Breakfast. If you haven't participated in that, you need to do so down at the Masonic Lodge. Great food.
Good food.
Great food, and it goes to a wonderful cause. Again, music and entertainment, a quilt show, and then Saturday, the Run for the Children, the stump meeting, speaking, and then the Hillbilly Parade and quilt show, and then of course, the Old Crow Medicine Show. That's just some of the things going on, but there's a lot of scheduled events and things that's in this brochure. These brochures are available at different locations. You can stop into your Pike County Local Tourism Commission's office there in the Hampton Inn for a copy. But want again commend the great work of Tony Tackett and Jay out of their office. They do all these pamphlets. They do an absolutely unbelievable job. We're very blessed to partner with them and have a great working relationship. But the quality of the work that they put into all these pamphlets for this community is just unreal.
Well, it says on the front of it, the festival with a heart. You know, it started very small several years ago as a way to raise money for the Shriners Hospital for Children. And when you see those kids come to Hillbilly Days, like the little one on the front there, she's a sweetheart, and you know what it's going toward, it takes on a whole different meaning.
Well, and that's a great point. I'm glad you pointed that out, because when I was looking at it this morning, that's the first thing that caught my eye again is the front page. And you look at the face, and that's why this thing was originated. That's why it was able to grow. You know, you can see the prosthetic as part of the wonderful work that I'm very proud to be a Shriner and a Mason, and all the great work that this organization does. But at the end of the day, if we can take care of these kids in the fashion that we do, and the money that is raised for this, and we certainly appreciate. I mentioned the tourism, but as most folks probably know, that the Hillbilly Days is comprised of the work of the city, the county, the tourism. The chamber, Southeast Chamber of Commerce, and then the Pike County. City, county, fiscal court, and then the Hillbilly Clan. I'm sorry.
Everybody.
It's those four entities that come together that plan this event, that help raise the money for the event through the support of the public and those that show up. It's a great festival for our community. It's changed over the years to a very wholesome family event. This is the 38th annual event. Who'd have thunked it? You know, when I was in school and can remember in high school how this event was back then compared to what it is today. It's just always been a good time, but it's just a phenomenal.
I did know a number, and of course the number changes from year to year, but I think it's on their website where you can go and see exactly how many children have been helped, but specifically Pike County children and children around our area that have been helped with the proceeds from Hillbilly Days and the contribution they make to the Shriners Hospital.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's amazing and staggering when you look at the dollars that this group is able to take down to Lexington each year. This in conjunction with, we got Hillbilly Days now, and then of course the Christmas in July event held in July. Yeah. Both of them worthwhile causes and working together and for the main point of supporting and taking care of the Shriners kids. But again, when you look at the numbers, and I used to know all those numbers, unfortunately I can't remember them now, and I don't want to quote something but just the amount of people that just Pike County alone that are helped, these kids that are free transportation is arranged for them by the local Shrine Club that takes their volunteers their time and takes them down in the van to get the services that they receive once they're there. And then at the end of the day, seeing a child that may not have been able to walk before get the treatment that they are getting and the financial help that they're getting, because it's all free.
Puts a lot of things in perspective, doesn't it?
It really does, and it makes this festival, when you're walking around, it's a great time that we have at these festivals, but it's also going towards a wonderful cause. So very, very honored to be part of it.
Yeah, certainly so. 24th through the 26th is the official Hillbilly Day weekend, and of course City Hall will be closed on the 24th and 25th. Another date that City Hall will be closed is on April 18th, which is Good Friday, yes, before Easter on the 20th. We want to make sure that we let everybody know that as well.
Well, and with that said too, on the 24th and 25th, City Hall is closed, but we're working. Mm-hmm. All my staff is downtown. I don't want to think people think we're out there on
you're
vacation.
Still working.
What we actually do is that all City Hall personnel mans the intersections all the way through the festival. We start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they work till 11 o'clock at night on the 2 days, and then until 9 o'clock on Sunday. But we direct the traffic to make sure that nobody's going down through town that shouldn't be there, and for the pedestrian, the concern with the pedestrian, somebody getting struck. And then also on the, you mentioned the 18th, which is Good Friday, City Hall's closed, but there is another magnificent event that will be held up at Bob Amos Park. And we invite everybody out there for the community Easter egg drop, 40,000 Easter eggs that'll be dropped. We're proud the city's partnering this year a little more so than we did last year, understanding the involvement in what this means to the community. So it's another event that we're proud to be associated with, and certainly appreciate all those volunteers out there that make this magnificent event happen, because if you haven't been up there and seen all the inflatables and all the other activities that's going around, it looks like a circus within itself up there, but the kids have a ball. I mean,
they
absolute
do.
Ball.
And also on Saturday in the city park, the company I work for, EKB, we're having our Easter egg extravaganza. So it's an extension of another Easter egg hunt, cakewalks and that sort of thing. And then of course Easter on the 20th.
Say
and
cakewalk.
it's always, huh?
Did you say cakewalk?
Cakewalk.
I love cakewalks.
Cupcakes. Yeah, you can come and participate if you want to.
If it's cupcakes are there, I'm in.
Angel cakes, actually cupcakes, so you'll definitely want to be there for that.
I'm definitely in now.
But a lot of fun that weekend. So we have the community Easter egg drop on the 18th. The Easter egg extravaganza will be on Saturday, and then of course Easter time to celebrate and spend time with your family on the 20th. Now, this coming weekend, April 5th, actually, this Saturday from where we're recording today, will be the annual Autism Awareness Walk. That's going to start at 10 o'clock.
Yes. And again, it's another wonderful event to come out for to support autism. The number of kids that autism touches is absolutely amazing. It's another opportunity for the community to come together and support a wonderful cause. Again, appreciate, and that's what continues. I shouldn't say it continues to amaze me anymore, because I show up at these events and all these volunteers that show up and put their time and effort into this. I'm honored to walk among them, more than just saying that it amazes me, because this is a great community with an amazing heart that you have an event for a worthwhile cause, and thousands people, several hundred or 1,000 people show up, and this is another one of those phenomenal projects that we're happy to support and work with for the Autism Walk. So.
Absolutely. That's just one of the walks that is going on this month, because April is National Child Abuse Awareness Month. So Judy's Place for Kids, Laura Kretzer, does a phenomenal job with that center. If you've never read about Judy's Place for Kids or understood what it is a tremendous facility that lessens the traumatic events of children who have suffered horrific abuse at many times the hands of family members, uncles, grandfathers, husbands, or just acquaintances. But they have a walk to raise money for Judy's Place for Kids too. I'm not sure of the date, but you can certainly look up on their website and see when that is. And that's just another one other walk, but certainly another great thing to have in our community that helps with children who have been through such traumatic events.
Well, again, it highlights it and educates folks to this, this horrific, these horrific events, unfortunately, take place, and on somebody that can't defend themselves. And Judge Thompson does a phenomenal job. I mean, he is so committed to these kids. The Christmas party that they throw each year, and then of course they just had the event in the park this week that we helped them set up for, but was contacted again by his staff, and they just, his whole staff and him, just, they have a big heart, and we're honored and humbled again to work with such a worthy cause, only for the fact that it is tragic that what happens to some of these kids at times, and the public needs to be aware, and we need to support those programs as well, and make sure we're doing what we need to be doing. So
certainly so.
Another great. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, I just thought of the walks that we have, and we spoke about this briefly on our last show. All of the different walks and runs that we have in the area. I was speaking to someone who's very involved in those just this week. She opened up her calendar, and every Saturday was filled with numerous walks, not only in our town.
Right.
It seems like it's every weekend,
anymore.
but in the area, in Prestonsburg, in South Williamson, in the Williamson area. So just pushing again the healthy initiative and getting families out doing things together on the weekends. One thing I do want to mention, April is also Pike County Pride Cleanup Month, and the Pride Cleanup for the city is going to be April 12th.
It will be April 12th, and again, we appreciate the efforts. We had a proclamation at the last commission meeting acknowledging this and commending the work of the high school and those students that are involved in the Pride Club. And we've got the city, Justin Prater is now our Pride coordinator for the city. We've got some events that we're scheduling coming up also after this, but it's again a great way to bring awareness to having pride in our community and keeping our community clean, not damaging our planet for the people that are our kids that are coming after us, the next generation. We're very proud of where Pikeville stands right now.
Yeah.
We're known as a very clean community, and UMG does an absolutely wonderful job with our. We started a pickup program about 5-6 years ago. You sometimes see the Kubota out on the road. It's got the lights flashing, and they hit different parts of the city and do a wonderful job at keeping our community clean, because that's when we bring people in our community, we want them to know that we have a sense of pride in a couple of different ways. But again, April 12th at 10 o'clock is the Saturday event. I'm certain that they would be happy to invite anybody who wants to come out and help.
I'm sure.
Help
so can they call Justin if they want to?
Yep, Justin, if they can call Justin at City Hall, 437-5100 City Hall, and he'll give them all the information that they need or ever wanted about not only this event but upcoming events as well.
And if you're looking at if you're not right in the city and you're seeing us on some of the outlying areas, Jimmy Dale Sanders, you can contact he or Kent Stacy. They're right there with the Pride Board. They will tell you where you can go, and there are different cleanups. Like this one is scheduled with our students, but there are other cleanups throughout the entire county that are scheduled too. So I know there's a group of UPike students that have elected to adopt a certain stretch of roadway. I think it's Ratliff's Creek, and that's where they're going to be. So everybody getting involved, cleaning up not only our city, our entire county and the region. Well,
this county does, again, they've got a great program, and they've got some good leadership that really takes this to heart. Trust me, I've been hit up a couple of times wanting to know what we can do to partner to do this event, this event, and this event. So again, another group of people that volunteer their time for no pun intended, just for pride of their community.
Absolutely. Speaking about pride, we have a lot of updates we want to give, and we're running out of time, which we typically do because there's so many things to talk about. Jenny Wiley Theater, if you drive down Hamley Boulevard and look right there across from City Hall, right adjacent to where we're taping right now, it's taking shape, isn't it?
It's totally transforming now. We're at the point now to where the hard stuff's done and the inside's now starting to come to life. The boards are out of the windows so people can kind of peer in. You see sheetrock going up, the new stairwells has been put up. I mean, it's really taking shape. And again, This facility should be open or completed, I should say, sometime in May. And then in the end of May, 1st of June part, you can get on Jenny Wiley. I don't want to speak on their behalf on their website and see what they've got scheduled, but this is going to be another magnificent facility. And Jill, one of the things that I didn't dwell on, but I will speak to both Jenny Wiley and Dream Stables, is that both programs, that when the city commission sat down and created the contracts, one of the components that we did not want to leave out was the educational piece of this, because both Dream Stables and Jenny Wiley Theater will be creating programs to go out into not just the city school system, but into the county as well, to bring equestrian programs through Dream Stables and to bring arts programs through Jenny Wiley. So, there's some things to try to get these kids engaged and involved, that it will be part of these programs. So we're really extremely excited about that as well.
You mentioned briefly a zip line.
Yes.
Earlier, and actually, when I was up at Dream Stables yesterday, Betty spoke about this. She said when they get that zip line finished, it's going to be great. What a wonderful addition. People travel great distances to try these zip lines, and this is not going to be just one of those from point A to point B. This is going to be a real moving zip line. It's
going to be what we're looking at. We've had 3 companies in here. We're waiting on 2 different presentations. The last company it was in last week. We're looking kind of at a combined deal. We're looking at the possibility of either the city operating it, but our preference would be is to get somebody that's an expert in the field to be able to operate it. So these people that build these zip lines, and there's only a few in the country, they also operate them. And the one we're talking to right now actually operates a zip line in Jamaica. I mean, these are not just fly-by-night deals. We went after the cream of the crop, bringing people in that knew what the business, understood what they were doing. But when he came, all 3 that came, we have one guy from actually out of Gatlinburg that builds zip lines, that operates them, and then one group that was out west, Oklahoma, I think. And they build these things all over the world, not just the United States, but different places outside of the United States too. And when they came in, 2 of them came in and just said, I'm willing to build. I'm not really interested in operating. But when they both got here, they said, oh my gosh, I can't believe what you all have going on here. This is beautiful country. And then they saw where we're looking at putting this up at Bob Amos, about close to the horse barn. But one of the unique things that we're looking at is either running close to parallel. Of course, we've got some restrictions, again, government, to where we can't get too close to the overlook. And we've had some people say, well, why can't you just zip line over you can't do that because you got the highway underneath of you. You don't want a flip-flop falling off on somebody's windshield. But, we probably will have the zip line probably zipping across Bob Amos Park to where, they're around maybe the YMCA or the soccer field. So as you're driving up, you're going to see somebody going across it. And that's part of the experience, is to give them something different here, and to tell a story, because it's not just, we call it a zip line, but it's not really a zip line, it's a canopy tour is the politically correct thing to call them. And the reason it's a canopy tour is because there's also other obstacles that you walk. You may be walking across a bridge, you may be climbing a set of spiral stairs, but it'll be a nice, we're again trying to put the package together, which includes the funding package. And the unique thing about this is this is far more affordable than what we originally had thought. So the city will be able to save some money. We're trying to work out a deal to where if we have somebody operate it, we'll get a percentage of the proceeds to help pay down the debt service. But the main point is to create a activity so that if somebody's coming here, they can ride the horses, Jenny Wiley Theater, hit the river trails, zip line, a couple of these other things we got coming. So it gives them basically you could spend a whole week here doing different activities. But you've also got places like Jenny Wiley, Break Center State Park, and all the other things that are around us that we want to look at regionally as well. So, and with the Hatfield and McCoy story, that's why I'm saying we're trying to be Gatlinburg-like, not a Gatlinburg.
Not a Gatlinburg. You mentioned briefly river trails and the river trail system going to be opening up May 1st, I believe is right. And that all originates from Bob Amos Park. You have the rafts, the kayaks, the canoes, all of those sorts of things. I did lose one of the oars last year in the river, so sorry about that. But this is just one more thing. And a lot of people are getting more and more involved in the river trail system, the kayaking especially, and the rafting. We've always heard about the rafting at the breaks because of their fantastic rapids that they have there. But for a more leisurely spin, the canoeing and kayaking through the Levisa Fork is something that is becoming much more popular.
Absolutely. And again, if you log on to the city's website to get all the information, www.visitpikeville.com. But we've got a new van that we bought this year. Sean is actually meeting with a company in Gatlinburg today that is looking at taking over our water trail system that we mentioned at the last meeting. So we've got a world-class, second largest kayaking company in the nation, first largest in Tennessee, that has some interest because of all these other components that are going on. And if what happens that I'm hoping will happen, this will create a world-class facility that they're looking at coming in and investing quite a bit of money and making it something that's very nice. Because Kentucky, the river, we've heard so many complaints over the years about how dirty it is and trashy. Understand it was certified. We've cleaned up our tributaries, our straight pipes, put a lot of programs in to do that, and this is has been classified as a blue water trail. Unbelievable amount of species in this trail, fish, aquatic life, and I mean it's just this is going to be a really nice trail system if we can get what we want to get out of it.
And we'll certainly update everybody on Sean's experience where
Yes,
he
when
is
he gets
today
back.
coming up, and hopefully we will have a brand new thing to mention at our next show. We are just about out of time. We've covered lots of things today, but we've talked a lot about Dream Stable, so I want to give the website one more time. You can go to visitpikeville.com, tourpikecounty.com, or dreamstables.eventb.com. You can find out all that information, but really better yet, just go up there and take a tour, get a pamphlet, see what's offered there at Bob Amos Park. We are out of time.
Support local business.
Absolutely, absolutely. This has been the Pikeville City Managers Report. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.